Hi, my name is Pete Swiderski. Today I'd like to give you a brief lesson on scales and chords and how the scales are going to be useful for you in improvising jazz. Now, this lesson is primarily for use in jazz improvisation, but it's just good general knowledge to have in the first place. So looking here, we have a C major scale written out on our staff. I want to talk about how the scales look and how a scale can be defined by the way it sounds. Just like you could identify a cat from a dog, even though there are hundreds of dogs, you could still spot a cat in there. Even though there are hundreds of scales, you can still spot what a major scale will sound like simply by its makeup. So let's take a look closer and see what that means. So first of all, a scale is one octave going up 8 notes. We're going to label those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally 8. The 8th note is actually a repeat of the first note, just one octave up. So let's look at the distances. Now if you were looking at a piano, the distance from the white key to the black key to the white key to the black key, those are called half steps. Half step's the smallest interval that we typically use, 1/2 of a step. Now it's not always white to black key. Sometimes on the piano it's a white key to a white key, but it's always from one key to the one that's right next door to it. That's how a major scale, that's how half steps look. So let's look now at major scale makeup. The distance between the first and the second note of a major scale here is a whole step. I'm going to put that down as W for whole step. The distance between the second and third note is a whole step. The distance between the third and the fourth note, this is where things are interesting, this is a half step. So we're going to put down H for half. Fourth to fifth, whole step. Fifth to sixth, whole step. 6 to 7, whole step, and finally the 7th to 8th is also a half step. So the half steps occur in between the 3rd and the 4th note and the 7th and the 8th note. These are our half steps. So no matter how you set up a major scale, the half steps will always occur between 3rd and 4th, 7th and 8th. And this is very important because this is what makes a major scale a major scale. So let's take, for example, a different major scale. We're going to go B flat. So B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and on the top, another B flat. So according to our rules, there's a whole step in between first and second, and indeed there is. From B flat to C is a whole step. Another way to define a whole step is 2 half steps. So there's our whole step between 2 and 3, another whole step between 3 and 4, the half step. Now this is why the E flat has to be in a B flat major scale. If it was an E natural, then the distance from D to E would then be a whole step. So it has to be lowered a half step with the flat. If it's not lowered a half step, then it would be a whole step. Then E flat to F, whole step. F to G, whole step. G to A, whole step. And finally A to B flat is our half step. So technically you could start a scale on any point and figure out how it's supposed to sound and how it's supposed to be spelled out simply by using the rules here. Half steps on between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. All the rest are whole steps. It'll always lead you to find how a major scale should look. Hope this lesson has been useful for you. I'm going to continue this series as often as I can. Thanks.